morning, students. This is math video number 9. Today, we're just gonna be going over homework that we've already done. All you're gonna need is a red pen and, of course, your books. Do not start this video unless you've already done the homework. I'll repeat, do not watch this video if you have not already done the homework. Okay, so make sure that you have your books open to page 68 and 69. Let's get started. On page 68, it wants us to find the unknowns in a given math problem. Remember, for addition, you have 1 part plus 2 parts equals the total. So you have 1 part and 2 part, and then you have the total. So when we're talking about big problems like this, the same rules still apply. So with 1a on page 68, we have 1 part plus an unknown part equals a total. What is missing? One of the parts, right? So you have part A and part B. We don't know part B, so we're gonna try to figure that out. And what always helps me is the ball pit example. Remember the ball pit? Have you ever been to a ball pit? They have different color of balls, but together all of those balls make up a total number of balls. So let's say that this is the red balls. These are the blue balls. Here is the total amount of balls in the ball pit, okay? So making a picture always helps me, so I usually draw my pictures something like this. Just a rectangle, and then together the rectangle is going to equal the total. So that being said, right here, the total, do you know what this total is? It's pretty simple. It actually gives it to you already. 890,546. So that number is going to go right here. There it is. This is the total number of balls in the ball pit. Instead of writing the problem like this, because of fact statements, you can swap them around. So this is what the problem looks like before we swap them around. So we have 505,328 plus something equals 890,546. Well, this looks weird and awkward, and I can't actually do the math problem easily in this format. So what we'll do is use the fact statement right here, and we're going to actually take the biggest number and subtract this much to get the missing part. So this problem is the same as this problem because you're gonna get the same answer. But this problem is much easier, so that's why we swap them around. We take the big number minus one of the small parts, right? This one, it wants the small part plus an unknown small part equals the big part, or the total, okay? Confusing? Not as confusing. And it's easy to see if you look at the picture, because this is the whole, this is 1 part, we don't know this part. So we subtract this from that, and you get the answer for the green question mark. So, we're gonna be using this method, and you need to think in these terms for the next problems in the homework, as well as the rest of the chapter. Okay, let's look at this one. Let's go ahead and start at our ones. 6 minus 8. Can we do that? No, we gotta borrow from our tens. So we're gonna cross this out, put a 3. We're gonna cross this out and put a 16. 16 minus 8, well, 8 is half of 16, so this is just 8. 3 minus 2 is just 1. 5 minus 3 is 2, comma. 0 minus 5. Well, we cannot do that, so we're going to take one of the 10,000s and turn it into an 8. So this is now 10. We put a 1 in front of the 0. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 8 minus 0 we can do, it's just 8. And then we move over to our 100,000s. 8 minus 5 is just 3. So this is one of our missing parts from our original question. It would be part B right here. So now we found one of the parts to make the whole. So this number plus this number should equal this number. So now we have found out what this question mark is right here. So these are the red balls. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in red. 385,000. So now we have our completed answer. We have part A and part B equals C, or the total amount. Now to check our work, remember the original equation. It's right here. This plus something equals a whole. If we added this number into this problem again, this would actually check our work for us. So let's go ahead and try that. So 8 plus 8 equals 16, right? So this gets a 1. 2 plus 3 plus 1 equals 4. 3 plus 2 equals 5. 5 plus 5 equals 0. 8 plus 0 plus 1 equals 9. 5 plus 3 equals 8. So this is how we check our work, is by using the original equation. So like I said about math, you can build it up and you can take it down, just like this. Instead of using addition in the beginning, we swapped and used subtraction. And then to check it, we use addition again. Build it up, break it down. This is the answer right here. You should have this on 1A in your book on page 68. Now that we know that we can swap numbers around and use different equations, we're going to do the same thing for 2B. For this one, it actually is set up where we have a big number minus a smaller number, because remember, you cannot subtract a big number from a small number. So it has a big number minus a smaller number equals an even smaller number. So let's think about this in terms of our last problem. Our last problem, the total number was really big. And out of these numbers, we're going to want to use the big one. And what we know about subtraction is if we have 4 minus 3 is 1, or you can do 4 minus 1 is 3. Pretty easy, right? The same works with big numbers. So we have this big number, which is going to go right here, and then we have two parts of that big number to equal it. So part A, part B. Well, part A or B, doesn't matter, is right here. So this is going to be one of the parts of the big number, or the whole. So we're going to go ahead and put this number right here. Okay, so now we have our ball pit. We don't know what the blue balls are. We do know what the red balls are. And we also know the total number. So all we have to do is take this number, subtract the red balls, and it will give you the blue balls. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to show you what the problem should look like if it were written like this. And then I'm going to show you what the problem is once we change it around to get the correct answer. All right, let's go. Okay, here you have it. So this one is a big number minus something equals this number. If we do this, we actually have an easy math problem that we can find out. So it's the big number minus what they gave us as an answer. That will give us the second part, which is the blue balls, okay? So now all we have to do is just do what we already know with addition and subtraction, and subtract this number from this number, okay? So let's go ahead and do that now. 5 minus 6, we cannot do. So we're going to take away from our tens, and we're going to make this a 15. 15 minus 6 is 7. 7 minus 9 we cannot do, so we're going to make this one a 1, and this one a 17. Minus 9 is just 8. And then we cannot subtract 4 from 1, so we're going to borrow from our thousands and make that a 9. we can't do that. We actually have to move over to our 10,000s. Take away 1, and this becomes an 11. 11 minus 4 is 7. And then we have 9 minus 9, which is 0. Oops, don't forget your comma. 6 minus 4, which is 2. 6 minus 2, which is 4. So, for our blue balls, or the part that goes right here, or here, or here, is 420,789. This is a hard equation, which they gave us, but because of fact statements, we know that we can swap things around to make them easier, like this. Big number minus one of the smaller numbers gives you another small number. And these two numbers together, added, will give you this number again. So over here, we can check our work by adding this number in our question mark. Let's go ahead and try that. So now that I've put our answer where our question mark was, now we can check our work. So 5 minus 9, we cannot do that. We have to make it a 15, make this a 7. This would be 6. 7 minus 8, we can't do that. We have to take from our hundreds. So this becomes a 17. 17 minus 8 is 9. And then we have 1 minus 7, we can't do that. We'll make this a 9. Come over here, make this a 6. This becomes an 11. 11 minus 7 equals 4. Okay, comma. 9 minus 0 is just 9. 6 minus 2 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bum, ba, da, ba. Doesn't this number look exactly like this number? Yeah. So this checks. We know for sure that the number we found here is correct, and it goes right here. So we're going to write our number right here, and that will give us the answer. Guys, I made a mistake on the last video. It was not number 2B, it was 1B. But that's okay, let's get started on this. 1C. What if I asked you, what is 1 more than 2? 1 more number than 2. Well, in your head, wouldn't you say 2 plus 1? Yeah, that equals 3. So when you see a problem like this, it's basically asking you, what is 2 plus 1? So it gives you both parts, and it's asking for the total, okay? What number is 1,500,285 more than 2,185,750? I know, it's a really big number, but just think of it in terms of 1 plus 2 equals 3. So, what number is 1 more than 2? This problem is only asking us to add the 2 parts that it has given us. It's given us 1 part and 2 part. So, it wants to know this number right here, and it gives us these 2 numbers. This one's fairly simple, but you have to think about what the words are asking. This much more than this much. In my head, I always say this much, because if I try to think about how long the numbers are, I get a little confused in my head. So, what number is this much more than this much? We're just gonna add the 2 parts together. So let me go ahead and fill out our diagram or our picture, and then I'm gonna write the actual math problem on the side here. Okay, so I have our 2 parts, because it gives us 2 parts. So this is the total numbers of balls in the ball pits. We have our red balls and we have our blue balls. It wants to know how many balls total. So over here, I've lined up my numbers, and it's just a simple addition problem. So let's go ahead and do that together. 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 8 is 13, carry the 1. 7 plus 1 is 8, 9, 10. So it gives us a 0, carry the 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. 8 plus 0 is 8. 5 plus 1 is 6, comma, 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so The total number of balls in the ball pit is 3,686,035. So that number is gonna go right here. There it is. Okay, so we have 1 part, 2 part equals a total. The total is our answer. So make sure that you have this correct in your book. If you got it wrong, put a red X, but I still want you to write the correct answer so you can come back and study later. Video number 9 is finished. You can move on to the next subject. Goodbye.